This is a guy who is going to be a free agent. This guy who's been with us through all of our Super Bowls. Nick Allegretti, who started during the Super Bowl in place of Joe Thuney, played really well. I think it was a pretty eye-opening that Brian Baldinger, all these people said there was no difference when Allegretti came in the game during the Bills game when Thuney was out. No one saw that happening. No one saw that, because I think for the most part, a lot of people didn't even know that Thuney was out because they didn't even make a big deal of it during the game. Allegretti comes in, does a great job in both Buffalo, second half of that game, Baltimore, and then the Super Bowl. But Allegretti gets hurt second quarter of the Super Bowl, tearing his UCL. The guy, this is the second quarter. We didn't hear about this till Tuesday of this week, 3 days later after the Super Bowl. So Allegretti's an animal. I mean, this guy played through a horrible injury in the Super Bowl. In the second quarter, play got shot up and just played the rest of the game. He's going to be a free agent. I think there was a chance of him getting paid pretty good money, kind of like a Wiley kind of contract to go be a guard somewhere. But he hurts his UCL, so obviously that's a recovery. That's gonna a deterrent for some teams out there. I honestly wouldn't mind having Allegretti back. And if there are, and we talked about the other day on the show, if there are some salary cap games here, if we want to move off guys who don't want to restructure their contracts, Allegretti stepped in and showed he can be a guard for us, especially left guard. But obviously, Teja, when you heard the story about Allegretti playing through this torn UCL during the second quarter of this game, played all the way through, didn't hear about it till Tuesday. And obviously, what do you think about bringing that tough SOB and Nick Allegretti back?
What a friggin' beast, dude. So he said he was hardly able to feel anything, probably because they shot it up. But he said, I was able to play, so I played. That's all it is. So, like, that's great. That's like the motto for tough guards out there, like who are playing with injuries, right? That's what you do when it's all at stake, right? So he's been here for these championship runs. And someone I want around for a few more years. So unfortunately and fortunately for him, maybe because of his injury, we might get a little discount because maybe someone doesn't want to sign, a guard who just had a UCL tear, probably to get surgery. Maybe I'm not sure how that works. I'm not going to dive into that part of it. But he made 4 years. I think $2.6 million was his last contract. So, yeah, I think he's going to get a little raise from that. Not that I want to move on from Thuney, but we have done a couple restructure jobs with him. So I think he is due a lot of money soon. Is that an option for us to move on from him? If not this year, next year? Quite possibly. It's going to be a huge cap number. And I think if there's one thing this playoff run showed us without Joe was that there's life beyond him on the O-line in that left guard position. So we're not completely finished without him. I think we thought, because he was such an Iron Man, we couldn't envision an O-line without him starting at that guard position. But I think we see that now. It's like, okay, we actually can do that without him. So not to say we should move on without him, but we can. And probably, so at this point, as good as Thuney's been, if I said Allegretti at $4-5 million, or what's Thuney making right now? Cap hit $26 million. Wow. Yeah, he's making a lot, man. He restructured 7. So his base salary 15, signing bonus 3, workout bonus 500,000, restructured 7.5. So his cap hit is almost 27 million with a dead cap of 21 million.
Wow.
You're telling me, is he $20 million better a season than Allegretti?
Thuney's good for sure.
I'm not saying he's not. We're $20 million better.
That's a lot of money, man.
His cap hit is what we want to pay Jones.
Yeah, no.
Should we discuss the importance of Thuney versus Jones at this point? That's what you're paying him. And if you're Jones, you're like, dude, you're paying Thuney 26, man, almost 27. That's what I want. Like, you're paying him that willingly. You're telling me I'm not as important as Thuney. You know what? Jones has got a good gripe there. So, yeah, again, tough decisions are going to have to be made at some point soon. But you have to be smart about when you do it, who you do it with. You have a guy that, played well without a beat, man, pretty much. Am I saying Allegretti's as good as Tooney? No, I'm not. I'm not at all. Do I think he's $20 million better than Allegretti? No, he's not. So tough decisions will have to continue to be made. And we have Trey Smith coming up, and we have Creed Humphrey coming up. So we have O-line as revamped as we made it a couple years ago. That might change again pretty soon. It happens fast. We had young talent who all of a sudden their contracts coming up soon.
Yeah, so I misspoke earlier. UCL is a shoulder injury. It's an elbow injury. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's the Tommy John.
Yes.
It's what Purdy had last year. Obviously, recoveries with that 4 months. I've seen 4 months. I've read different things. I mean, they said Purdy was going to miss the whole year with it. He came back and was fine by the time preseason came around. So that'll be interesting. It's for offensive linemen, and that's I don't know. That's kind of a rough one, but 4 months, standard recovery time for Tommy John surgery is at least 4 months to return to throwing activities. It originally takes professional athletes at least 9 months and often more than a year before they can return to sports. But we saw Purdy come back earlier, but quarterback is a little different. You doesn't throw with quarterbacks, so you think that would
that was incredible. They came back that quickly.
Yeah. That's a very interesting point as far as what Tooney makes and what potentially you could pay Allegretti. And quite frankly, we showed, and everyone's talking about, we proved we can get by with receivers not really giving us much. Well, we proved that we can get by with a left guard who isn't making top tier money in the Super Bowl too. So that's going to be an interesting decision to make. I could possibly see something going on with that.
So he made 2.4 with us last year, base salary. Gave him a 1 year, $2.4 million deal. So, I mean,
run it back, baby.
Yeah, I'd say, he definitely deserves a raise.
For sure.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.